Jeff Peterson from Heartland Farm Partners is our corn and soybean market analyst this week. The U.S. Department of Agriculture on Thursday released its August crop report containing its projections on American output for the 2017 growing season. Jeff joined us shortly after the release to dissect the agency's estimates.
You know, unfortunately, Jeff, what we had is those numbers are negative compared to the trade estimates, and that's what's hurt us. So, you know, as of right now, we've got the markets down. If we were able to get rid of the trade estimates, though, Jeff, I wouldn't feel too bad about this report, to be honest with you.
Tell me where these trade estimates come from.
There's major sources. Dow Jones has their estimates, Reuters has theirs, Bloomberg has theirs, Wall Street Journal. And what they're doing is they have a set group of different analysts that they reach out to and get different estimates from them. What do they think the yield is going to be? What do they think the stocks are going to be? What do they think production is going to be? So they just take a sampling. There's a little bit of confusion this year. Sometimes when they grab their yield numbers, they have to be clear on what they're asking. Are they asking about final, or are they asking about is USDA's numbers for this report? And I think we might have had a little confusion with that in these estimates this time.
Yield was one of the big changes or the big surprises to the trade estimate. What do you think is noteworthy about the estimates that the USDA came out with today?
Well, I think we got to break it apart. First thing we got to say, it was higher than what was expected. We come in at a 169.5. The trade estimates that we're looking at are looking at a 166. If you're just to look at that number, you're saying, Jeff, oh no, it's a big crop. But the positive side of that, and this is what we want to walk away from, is the fact that a 170.7 is where we started at. It was still 1.2 bushels lower. We really have to understand what this report was about in regard to yield. It had two sides to it. It had the farmer objective side and it had the infield estimate side, right? They surveyed over 21,000 farmers for this report. They did probably a little bit over 4,500 infield observations, and they got to bring those all together. And if you really look at it from the objective side out in the field, one thing that stands out to us is the ear counts. The ear count, the last time we really had a number this low, it's a little bit over 28,000 ears. You know, 2013 through 16 were all bigger, so the ear count is down. I think we'll see lower ear weights as we go forward in additional reports.
What was noteworthy about the stocks numbers?
Yeah, the stocks numbers, let's start first on the old crop side first. I think what stood out to us is no change at all on the old crop corn numbers. Soybean numbers, okay, it's because of the strong demand, down 40 million bushels, down to 370 million bushel carryout. Then we move over into the new crop side though, and what ended up happening, you know, if we look at it for the 2017 crop, it came in 2.273 billion bushels. That's down from 2.325. That's 52 million bushels less than what USDA was talking about in the last report. But 1.966 is actually what the trade was looking for. So we got a bigger number than what the trade was looking for on the corn side.
When you referenced the strong demand in soybeans, foreign demand specifically?
That's exactly what it was. It's the export demand. It's a continued appetite coming out of China to continue to increase the demand and take those bushels away.
So this question, you know, we've asked for the past number of weeks here, but obviously is in the spotlight this week because of this report. What do you see in crop conditions in the areas of concern or the areas that are doing really well as you look across both Nebraska and the rest of the Corn Belt?
One thing we should look at first is that let's talk about the corn conditions first, and let's in particular talk about the Nebraska yield. They've got that up 5 bushels the acre compared to last year. Everybody's kind of scratching their head a little bit when our conditions are down from where we were last year quite a bit. And as we move ourselves around the state, we would overall, our opinion would be we think we're going to actually come in with a lower yield than last year on the corn, not a higher yield. So I think that's for Nebraska side. As we move ourselves across the nation, one of the things that we really see, it's variability. We were up in Minnesota last week, and honestly, you couldn't see a better crop. But as we talk to our customers in Iowa, the thing that we hear from them is that it just depends on where you're at. You've got some areas that look really good in the Northeast, but through most of the state, there's some problem areas that are popping up across there. So I think the big thing that we're saying is that the crop conditions that we have, both on the corn and soybean side, we don't believe support what the yield numbers that were put out today.
Now that this report is done, this was the report that people were looking at for, you know, at least a month or two here. What do you say to the guy who has some old crop left in the, ideally corn, left in the bin and then is trying to make some sales for new crop, corn or beans?
Yeah, so here's what I'd say to them, Jeff. Today we just want to go ahead and take a sigh of relief. We want to be patient here. The market's going to overdo the move today. We believe that down the road there's going to be better selling opportunities. First on the old crop, if you need to move it, okay, go ahead and do a basis contract on it if you have to move it. That's going to give you some time still to get a better futures price, but do everything you can not to go ahead and set the futures price here today. For new crop, we would say actually just go ahead and wait here. Here's what we have to think about. Big picture, what we're seeing is that the stocks are still coming down on the old crop, okay? Both the US and in the world, big picture. We believe that that means we're going to see some better selling opportunities after we get past harvest. So as a result of that, we would say that you still want to be patient also on those new crop bushels.